Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's recording of our weekly Teaching Commons blog. My name is Brian Nairn, and I am the curator of the Teaching Commons blog. And I'm really excited today to be hosting a roundtable conversation with three amazing colleagues. We'll be talking about pedagogy that aids transition. And so our three panelists will give a little explanation as to what this transition pedagogy looks like, and we'll discuss some benefits both to students and faculty members. So as we get started, maybe we'll just like to introduce our three panelists here. So maybe just start with Alexis. You want to just introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Alexis, and I am a fourth year health studies student specializing in health policy.
Great. Linda?
Hi, I'm Linda Van Drummel. I'm an assistant professor and undergraduate program director in the School of Health Policy and Management, and currently working on a project with Alexis and with Yasmin related to pedagogy that aids transition.
Awesome. And Yasmin?
Hi, everyone. I'm Yasmin Delaviz. I am the Faculty of Health Educational and Curricular Development Specialist. And so I support faculty and teaching assistants with anything that is curricular or co-curricular related.
That's great. Okay, so let's just jump right into this conversation here. So Yasmin, maybe let's start with you. Do you want to just give a brief overview about what this pedagogy that aids transition actually is?
Yes, absolutely, Brian. So transition pedagogy takes a curricular approach to student success by embedding key skills and attributes of transition pedagogy into selected first or second year courses. These skills include things like teamwork, scaffolded learning with timely feedback, self-regulation, which includes mindfulness and metacognition, self-reflection, and finally, making connections between content and real-world experiences. Now, while we have a lot of co-curricular opportunities and supports available on campus for students to develop a sense of capability and resourcefulness, not all students are able to take advantage of these opportunities. So by taking a curricular approach, we can ensure that all students have an opportunity to learn, practice, and develop these key skills that are important for student success in the university and beyond. And maybe I'll pass it on to Linda to speak more about the details of these key skills that are part of transition pedagogy.
Sure. Thank you, Yasmin. So we recognize that course directors and instructors already have courses where they've got students engaging in skills like teamwork, self-regulation, self-reflection. And it's really this combination of these 5 components of transition pedagogy that are so important to ensuring that students can be successful in university. And our approach is to ensure that students get the skills early in their university career. And so for courses that already have group work components, we want to really promote supporting students to be successful in group work. So for instance, teamwork and group work in transition pedagogy really involves, 2 or more students working together to achieve a common goal. And this can be done very easily in large classrooms by incorporating things like think, pair, share, or having small group work assignments that don't necessarily have to be related to a summative assessment, but could be a formative assessment. Scaffolded learning is also something that many course directors already do within their courses, where they have an assignment that students work on, and it's broken up into small parts, and the students receive feedback right away. And so we know that this is already an important part of courses, and if we can meaningfully design more courses with scaffolded learning, it will only help to prepare students for success. Finally, self-reflection. We have a lot of courses that have both classroom-focused experiential education as well as other work-integrated learning and community-focused experiential education opportunities. And so these courses do use self-reflection as an important part. We want to teach students early within first year to be able to engage in really meaningful self-reflection. And along with that is self-regulation. So having them engage in mindfulness and learning to learn. So using self-reflection to improve their ability to study for tests, to manage their time, and to engage with course content. So all 5 of those components are sort of interconnected and already exist in many courses. And this is just a way to meaningfully embed those 5 components in first-year courses to help students be successful.
That sounds great. It sounds like there's a lot of different, kind of benefits, and this is really important for that student transition. So on that, I'd actually be curious to hear what Alexis thinks about this project and these different kind of opportunities that are being designed for these students here.
Yes, definitely. There is so much importance in incorporating these path components into the course design. It also allows for students to develop skills related to success that they may not have had the opportunity to develop in high school. So a lot of students go from having really small classroom sizes and personal relationships with their teachers and peers to being thrown into these large lectures where they don't get the chance to develop those critical connections with their instructors and their peers. This quick transition is often very overwhelming and leaves many of us unprepared, which kind of just forces us to get with a program and figure it out as we go along, which may have some negative implications in our overall learning experience.
That's great. Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of different benefits that can come from this. Do you see yourself using these in your own studies or sharing them with any of your own kind of peers in various stages of their degree?
Yes, definitely. I think I have learned so much already, and having a younger brother, I've been trying to kind of drop these little gems on him, and he's even seen the improvement in just the way he operates in his classroom as well. So I think there's so much importance in, getting those skills taught early, and it helps with the transition so much more.
That's great. And so Linda, I'm actually wondering then from your perspective, so we've heard, kind of what pedagogy, what transition pedagogy is, how this could benefit the students, just to get a sense now of how faculty might be wanting to use these and the benefit that faculty will see by incorporating these principles.
Sure. So, I can speak from my experience teaching a very large first-year course in health studies. And, we've already designed the course to have components of transition pedagogy in it, so students engage in group work and teamwork. But oftentimes students really come to us without necessarily all of the skills that are important to being successful in group and teamwork. So things like conflict resolution and, project planning. And so, simple things like communication skills and being able to negotiate and figure out methods of communication and avenues of communication, and then together work on challenges as they arise, and work through that normal group process of, forming, norming, storming, performing. So I just think that, being able to meaningfully teach some of these skills in first-year courses alongside of first-year content is really important for students. Likewise, I would also just say that self-reflection is something that, again, we really focus on because we're so oriented towards providing students with experiential education opportunities. And when students have not had an opportunity to learn about the self-reflection process, oftentimes they struggle at being able to meaningfully self-reflect. So take something that they've learned and then analyze what it means to them, what it means to the learning, and then what it means to their future career or the sector that they're involved in. So again, being able to give students, to teach them how to self-reflect early in their university career then helps them as they move through the various levels. And just as a little side note, we recognize that course directors, can benefit from getting supports and resources and assistance in being able to teach these skills. And so what people may learn at another time or another vlog is that we've developed a toolkit that course directors can incorporate into their courses. And we're happy to come back and talk to you another time specifically about the toolkit.
That sounds great. I'm really looking forward to hearing more about this toolkit once it's ready to launch. So if I was curious to learn more about pedagogy that aids transition, who could I reach out to get more information?
Sure. Go ahead, Yasmin.
Oh, I was just going to jump in because I'm quite excited. So, of course, you can reach out to myself or Linda. We're both happy to connect and, expand on this conversation and learn more and speak about pedagogy that aids transition further. And so you can consider me as a great resource, and Linda for sure as well.
Awesome. And just as a note, the email addresses for Linda and Yasmin can be found in kind of the text right underneath this video on our blog page here. So yeah, so I think that kind of just wraps up our quick conversation. I just want to thank the three of you for bringing this topic to the forefront. It seems really exciting things happening, kind of coming down the pipe, and I'm really excited to see where this toolkit takes us. So thank you all for all the hard work and support that you do for the students at York, and looking forward to chatting with you again soon.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting us.
Thank you.